Hello, everyone, and welcome to Harv's World for another episode of Ravensberg. We are back in central Germany on a very, very brisk winter morning. That's right, it's the first day of winter, and we have to find ways to stay busy and keep that money rolling in because, frankly, we're going to need it. Frau Baumann, of course. Well, realistically, what she really wants is to just keep the cattle operation fully functional, get it up to speed. The things that she wasn't capable of doing on her own. Get it self-sufficient, I guess, with the appropriate equipment and whatnot. I find the whatnot is often most important. But, she also has talked about wanting a full-blown dairy operation, including chickens, and she was even hinting at the possibilities she might consider opening her own store. So, her own little dairy shop for the locals. She felt like maybe if she focused on local commerce early on, if we can get her there, that might go a long way toward helping her compete with the big dogs on campus. You know what I'm talking about, the Herr Hubers and such. So we'll do what we can. I said, no promises. We don't even have the cattle sorted yet, so let's not put. I guess in this particular instance, don't count our chickens before they hatch is going to be exceptionally appropriate. Anyway, it's winter. Yes, there's snow in the forecast, and yes, it has already started. And yes, I cannot bloody get this straw blower into this shed. I don't want it to fill up with snow. That would be bad, okay? So I'm really focused on bringing money into the farm so we can expand. Now, there's a few things that I want to do that will help along those lines. One of them is that up by my cabin, you've seen the cabin that she's letting me stay in, there's a very nice piece of land that's all covered with forest. So I talked to Frau Baumann about that, and she said she doesn't mind converting that into farmland if we can keep trees along the main road so it's still makes for a nice, pleasant drive. I kind of understand that. I mean, I personally think driving by a field is pretty pleasant, seeing what's going on, or a cattle pasture, looking at the cows doing their thing. And oh yeah, the snow's coming in, and I want to get battened down. This is light enough now, I can just toss it up here, it'll empty itself. It might empty itself. There. That'll do it. Oh, that did it. Let's get these lids covered so we don't get snow in our product. These things can be a little bit finicky sometimes. There he goes. Alright, good. Now, as I was saying, we don't have the resources of a Herr Huber at our disposal, but much like Herr Huber, I do have a significant amount of manure, which we always seem to be coming back to these days, unfortunately, or fortunately, depending on how you want to look at it. Anyway, I want to get manure to the biogas plant, because that's going to bring in some nice income. And God knows we keep producing tons of it. But I can't really afford to go out and buy an expensive new trailer, because frankly our little Massey over there won't load this trailer. It's too tall. But what I can do is go in here and pick up a lovely little loading ramp. Swing it right on around about here. Pop it down right about there. 1,500 euros. And that's going to solve our loading problem. Brilliantly, I might add. Look at that. It's like it was made to be there. Now I want to get nice and tight on this because I don't want my Massey going over the edge. This is still a 39,000 liter trailer. I mean, it's going to hold a significant amount. The one drawback to this Massey is I'm going to freeze my tuchus off loading it up. And with the snow coming in, it's not going to get any better. In fact, this snow is going to last pretty much straight for 24 hours. At least that's what the weather forecast says, and I have no reason to doubt it other than the fact that, well, we know what weather forecasts are like, right? There we go. Just like it was made to do it. Outstanding. Absolutely outstanding. I love it when a plan comes together. You get bonus points if you can tell me where that phrase comes from. I love it when a plan comes together. It's always been one of my favorites. Well, this should just about do it. Maybe one more bucket load. And yeah, it's getting a little bit slickery. A little bit slippery indeed. You can see, man, the snow is just, oh, out of control. Come on, baby. There we go. It's fun to slide around in, though. Luckily, it's not sticking to my ramp, so I don't have to worry about getting uphill. I think if it were on the ramp, I might really be struggling with that. This surely has to do it. Yes. And I am going to leave manure in this bucket, because if I don't, it's going to fill up with snow. Not that I really have to worry about that so much. I could just move the snow elsewhere, but this way, I've got a bucket full ready the next time I come over here. There we go. Alright. That little ramp worked out perfectly. 1,500 euro solution as opposed to a 20 or 30 or 40,000 euro solution. And now I'm going to slip slide my way up to the biogas plant and get this sold off. I hope it doesn't get too crazy around here. Although the snow, I don't know about this snow, man. It's really coming down. I should probably turn my lights on for safety. And I often mostly forget, but I will turn my beacons on. Safety first. I don't know where that comes from. I have an ex-girlfriend who used to say that all the time in just that way with the lisp. Safety first. And I think it was from some cartoon that she liked to watch, but knowing her, never mind. Moving on. Nobody wants to hear or talk about exes. Even if they do happen to live in Texas. Getting out of this little section of our village can be just a little bit of a... Oh, almost hit that sign. Ooh, that was close. So as I was saying, we need to keep the farm moving forward financially. I think I have a plan for that. I'm almost certain I have a plan for that. Like I said, we've got a piece of land. We just need to get the trees off of it, and I think the trees should give us a significant amount of money, but it is going to require a significant investment. And I'll tell you right here and now, if I have to log out a whole section of forest to have the land, the expansion that I want and need or feel that this farm does need, I'm going to spend some money to do it. I'm not going to buy anything, but I'm not going to hold back on the leasing costs either. Now, I don't expect to have to do too much more logging when this is done, but hopefully, I mean, it's going to take some time. It could take all winter to get the job done. But once the initial lease is paid for, I think, keep your fingers crossed, I think we will be able to move forward. And that is not at all what I was going to say. Once the initial leasing cost is paid, then I think we can keep up with the daily leasing fees that are going to be necessary. One way or another, we're going to find out, because that's how it's going. I could either end up having a clean plot of land to put some crop on, or I could end up in the hole, and that would be even worse. And so far, we have not had to utilize Frau Baumann's credit to our credit. So I would like to try to stick to that, if at all possible. If for some reason we end up having to take a loan at some point, which I would not like to do. Well, again, bridges that will be crossed when we come to them. Man, where are the plowing crews? Some of these roads are severely neglected. Maybe that's a job opportunity. We'll see. Look at that. I've already got a liter of snow in my trailer. I better get this back in the barn so it doesn't fill up. And then we'll check back in and see exactly where things stand. Well, I'm semi-organized at this point. Don't hold me to that. So here on the right is our forest, our grove of trees. Now this is not a main road right here. In fact, these are just back roads, so these don't matter. There's my little cabin right over there. And then it's this whole section here on the right. And there are a goodly amount of trees in there, let me tell you. So I think even over a few days, and throwing some other work in between, like I've got to keep those cattle fed, and believe it or not, I've already been called about a contract to clear some snow, which is going to be interesting. I've not done this before, ever, so I'm intrigued to discover exactly what that's going to be all about. But this whole sector here, now we'll leave trees along this main roadway here so everyone can have their lovely scenic view, but this over here, I mean beyond all the way up into the fields, there's no problem with clear cutting all of that. Although, you know, one thing I don't think I have right now is a bloody chainsaw. I don't think I have a chainsaw. I called the shop. I had them send over some equipment. I have got a loading trailer. This is going to load logs for us. I'm going to tell you right now, if I was loading these by hand, we'd be here until next winter. it's just that simple. And this is the base game Komatsu. It should do us quite nicely. Shouldn't be any problem with that. As long as I can get a feel for it, because, well, I don't normally use this thing. I have a different one that I like to use, and, well, it's kind of reserved for other tasks. And I think what I really want to do is get some lights on out here, because even though it's only 4 o'clock, it's already starting to get a little bit dark. Now, if I have to plant some trees back in, fine. I don't have an issue with replanting. In fact, that's just a non-issue whatsoever. So, you know, even if I get too close to the road, I'm not terribly concerned about it. We'll see how it looks when I'm done, and then I'll plant more trees, just if I need to, just to make Frau Baumann happy. Because, hey, honestly, this is all about her, right? Right. First thing I need to do is set the length of my tree, and that's going to be 6 meters. I'm going to fire this mother up. I'm already in line with the tree, but I want to get up there a little bit more snug. if I can. I want to try to make sure that I'm getting this. See, the controls on this one are quite a bit different than what I have gotten used to. So, oh, there we go. Swing that bad boy around like so. And start chopping 6-meter logs. Perfect sections already trimmed. This is squirrely. And there's a good thing there's no traffic on this particular road, because I'm going to be blocking the intersection. Sorry guys, it just is. Suck it up, Buttercup. Now, I heard an interesting story that took place in Germany recently. I read it, actually. I didn't hear it. So, there was a guy. Well, let me back up. So, in Germany, maybe this is a European thing. I don't know for sure. They have vending machines for recyclables. So, for example, if you have a can or a bottle that you want to make a little bit of cash off of by recycling, all you have to do is take it to one of these vending machines. The vending machine has a slot in it. You put the bottle or can in the slot. You press a button. It recycles the thing. It chops it up, crushes the bottle, whatever it does. And then it gives you your money. I think it gives you like a coupon or something that you can turn in for actual cash. Good enough. That's a nice system. I'm sure it saves a lot of money in the long run. You know, not having to run like we do in the US, where we have recycling pickups all the time. You can just take them right to your local vending machine and be done with it. Anyway, so a very clever guy, because, you know, people are always thinking outside of the box, unless they're building boats out of pumpkins, then they're, again, thinking outside the gourd. But a guy got one of these vending machines. He got his hands on one, and he took $5,000 of his own money, and he modified it. Now, I don't know the specifics of what he did exactly, but ultimately, what it allowed him to do was it allowed him to take a bottle, put it through the machine would print out the ticket to pay him for the bottle, and then it would give the bottle back to him, or he would fish out the bottle somehow. So normally, like I said, these machines crush those bottles, they shred the aluminum cans, whatever. Well, in this situation, it wasn't doing that, and he was able to pull the bottle back out and just keep doing that over and over and over again. Well, you know, that sounds pretty, you know, I mean, I'm sure they don't pay much to begin with, and you know, he's got $5,000 invested now. Well, when he went to court, it was discovered that he had made 44,000 euros. And they estimated in the court documents, you know, that might be a trailer load. Let's find out. They estimated in the court documents that in order to earn that kind of money off this thing, he would have had to run that bottle through 171,000 times. 171,000 times. Can you imagine, you know, sitting locked in a room with a vending machine and putting a bottle in, waiting for the ticket to print, pulling the bottle back out, and doing that over and over? I mean, even on a good day, that probably has to take like 10 seconds. So the most he could do is, what, 16 or 6 cycles per minute? He did this 171,000 times. All right, let's see what we got here. Oh, we've got two piles. We're on pile 1. We want auto load to be on the right, which we do, and we are going to hit start auto load. Now I'm going to warn you, if you ever use these trailers, I don't use them often, but when I do, I have discovered one thing. Do not turn auto load on while you are moving. Turning auto load while you're while you're moving is bad, okay? Because it flings your logs kind of all over the place. It does not work well for anybody. I'm gonna have to get closer. I'm just not quite in the right position. That's a little better. Now we'll switch our auto load to the left, kick it back on, and watch it finish loading our trailer for us. Oh, come on. Don't be all stubborn on me now. There we go. There it goes. Yeah, we got pretty close to a full trailer here. See if we can get any from that position. Very good. Strap those bad boys in. Let's go sell this wood. See if it paid for the cost of equipment for the day. For whatever reason, we just paid 54,000 euros. That's a lot of bloody euros. Make that 55,000 euros. Yeah, I feel like this plot of land is quite reasonably going to pay for itself. Quite distinctly going to pay for itself. Wow, I had no idea it was going to pay like that. None whatsoever. And I'm sitting here worried about snow contracts. And I'm still going to make money off the manure. I don't know. We're going to have to analyze this and see what happens. Maybe it was a one-off. Maybe we just got lucky. Anyway, I'm going to go home. Put my feet up. Have some schnitzel. 8:30 in the morning. The snow is still flying. The snow is still flying. I need to clean this trailer up because, well, I hauled manure in it and I want to do cattle feed. I need to get these cattle some food before they starve to death. They are not in good shape. At least food-wise. I don't want in the truck. Thank you. And I hope... Let's make sure the snow is emptied out of this. Oh, really? Well... Somewhere in here I've got cattle feed. Oh, there we go. Alfalfa silage. You remember the alfalfa silage? Man, my fingers are all over the place today. You remember the alfalfa silage? You know, the one that we had to work so bloody hard on to get? Yeah, that one. And yes, I left the Fendt up at the... I guess we'll call it the logging operation now. Holy crap. I had no idea. I mean, I'm going to have to call Frau Baumann sometime today and let her know just what a gold mine she's got up there. Because that could solve a lot of our financial troubles if they keep paying that well. I don't think they will. I really kind of feel like that was a one-off deal. I think we're still going to make a good chunk of money off of those trees. And I would still say she's got a gold mine on her hands up there, but man, had no idea. Okay, the cattle are fed. And I'm just trying to move this mower out of the way. There we go. Because I have snow removal equipment. that will work wonderfully on this little Mercedes Unimog. So I'm at least, even though the snow is still falling, going to start gearing up for this. There's one thing that I'm going to need is some road salt, and that's not cheap. Hopefully it will go a long way. So I have a plow on the front, a salt spreader on the back. I'm going to run to the shop and pick up some salt. It'll be loaded for bear. Well, loaded for snowmen anyway. Okay, this is the place right here on the left, and I'm going to step out of the scenario for a minute, whatever you want to call it, just to explain this. So, on Ravensberg, if you look at your contract, you'll see there are many snow clearing contracts available to me. I've got this big one here, $26,000 for clearing this industrial area. Now, in your map, FS19 defaults this information marker to off, and these can be tricky to find if you don't know where they're at already. You know, those contracts, they don't have very clear definitions of where, you know, train station, supermarket. Some of these are self-explanatory, some of them are not. If you can't find it, make sure that this is turned yellow and you will get a white marker where your contract is located. With that said, once you're here, the contract will put in these orange markers right here. You are required to clear all of the snow within the orange markers. There's one on every corner of this industrial area. I'm going to turn my plow to the right, get back right up here to the driveway. I'm going to turn some lights on because it's still a little bit dark, in my opinion anyway. Drop my plow down. And away we go. And this little truck does a nice job. And for those of you who don't know, I'm not sure if it's available for console. I'm not going to say that I know that, but this is the Hauer, H-A-U-E-R snowpack that is just straight from ModHub, and it's small enough and works very well with this little Mercedes-Benz Unimog. And look how deep that snow is, man. That really piled up. This is going to be a challenge to get cleared. Come on, baby, light my fire. And yep, I'm gonna treat this like a field and do some headland passes. Try to clear up the ends a little bit before I even start in the middle. Although I have a sneaking suspicion this isn't going to do me too many favors, but yeah, with a little bit of luck. A little bit of luck and a whole lot of patience. And that's something else I wanted to say. I knocked time down to ×5 instead of ×15 for the moment, because otherwise I'd never get this done. So, you know, this is a big job, and I want to make sure I get it done today, with, you know, keeping my fingers crossed, all of that. And then I will show you the salt spreader. The salt spreader on this is a nifty little operation. Also, one thing to keep in mind, now I showed you how deep the snow is here. It's very deep snow, and with the salt spreader it will not clear snow this deep. It will not do it. It will take off, so I would estimate this is at least 3 to 4 snow layers. The game does that. It packs the snow in layers. So, you know, if you just have the first layer of snow, the salt would take it off. Once you get beyond the first layer of snow, then the game, oh, there's a railing there that I'm just, yeah, well, you know, life goes on. Anyway, once you get beyond the first layer, the salt won't do much. I mean, I guess if you wanted to go over it like 4 times, it would eventually melt all the snow, but you saw how expensive that salt is, so cost effectiveness there begins to drop dramatically. I don't know, do what you will. But like right here, if I turn the salt spreader on right now, see how it's not really melting that off much? It's because the snow is too deep. That's all it is. Just the snow got too deep there. And another thing I know for sure, and like I said, I wasn't going to do this job until it stopped, until the snow stopped. If you're on Ravensberg doing a snow contract, I imagine it does this no matter where you are. But let's say I decided I wanted to plow this while it was still snowing, right? The minute the game updates the snow on the ground, I raised that. Oh, it's the I'm on the wrong thing. The minute that the game updates the snow on the ground again, because the snow is still falling, let's say I got 50% of this all cleared off. Once it updates and snow is on the ground again, because snow will fall wherever there's a clear space, your contract is going to get set backwards. You know, it's going to go back from, say you were 50% done and the snow falls, it's going to go all the way back to about 15%. Because obviously there's snow again. And they want it cleared. They're not paying you to leave snow on the parking lot. There we go. Contract finished. Not bad. Not bad at all, actually. I mean, it's a little bit tedious. I did end up having to, well, you saw some of that. But I found a way to get her done. Absolutely, positively. And keep in mind, guys, you know, I mean, obviously, this is what I'm using. If you haven't looked into it before, and that's $26,000 in my pocket. I'm going to pick up this this fire department contract also. I'm not doing it today because that's another 11 grand. Woo and who. Still took half the day. And now that I'm satisfied, I'm going to go ahead and bump that time back up to 15 times. It would have taken all day at 15 times. I mean, which technically, it'd be dark by now. Which technically would be fine. That's not that big of a deal. But it can be very difficult to see, and I thought this would be something people would be interested in actually seeing. And, you know, watching me drive the wrong way. That's always fun. Anyhow, I think winter's going to keep us plenty busy. Between the logging and clearing snow, I think we've got a lot on our plates. A whole bunch on our plates. Actually, you know what's interesting is right here is the beginning of the street clearing contract for the fire department. I could just drop my blade and like knock out some of this right almost instantaneously. Plow it right up on the sidewalk. That's right, on the sidewalk. That's what I said. Right out here in this intersection. And try to avoid traffic at the same time. Anyway, I'm not going to do that. I will later. Probably off camera, if you want to call it that. But winter's going to keep us plenty busy. You know, not so much with the cattle, but definitely with the logging and the snow clearing. I'm not sure how many episodes winter will be. Maybe one more. Because frankly, you know, logging and snow clearing is what winter's going to be about for us. And I don't think you guys just want to watch that over and over and over again. Although I am going to get the salt out of the back of my truck. It should tip right in. Like so. Anyway, I think that's going to do it for this episode of Ravensberg. I do hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please remember to hit the like and subscribe buttons down below. I very much appreciate you coming along for the ride. Frau Baumann also says thank you. And until next time, take care.